What it do? Dream Team. It's your boy D Neil back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with Frankie Boyle's savage examination of UK politics, the last leg, channel 4. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so I get suggested. Oh, we go!
Let's welcome tonight's guests. One is known as the terror of the Conservative Party. The other is a well-known comedian. Please welcome Baroness Saeeda Vasi and comedian Frankie Boyle. All right, Frankie, I'm going to start with you. What do you make of the Tory leadership campaign?
I just think we're the first society in history to be ruled by incompetent fascists. Fascists are... They're normally organised. We're going to be going to the death camps in a replacement bus service.
You're going to be going to the death camps in a replacement bus service.
We're going to have the next Prime Minister chosen by a very small group of elderly people during a heat wave. And it's got to be either Rishi Sunak, a guy whose greatest desire in life is to be pegged by Thatcher's ghost, or Liz Truss, who would be the first Prime Minister to forget to breathe and just die.
Jesus. Frankie, tell us how you really feel.
Saeeda?
I'm trying really hard not to applaud or laugh.
Of the two, would they have been your final two choices?
So the good news is they're not the worst two.
Okay.
Right? Because we could have had Cruella Braverman, or we could have Suella Braverman, sorry. or we could have had Kemi, the Queen of Culture Wars, right?
Right.
And we didn't have them.
So they were your...
That's the good news. We don't have them too.
Yeah.
The bad news is we don't have who we should have had, which is Tom Tugendhat or Penny Mordaunt, which I think would have been a return to the sane middle ground for the party. And, you know, if I had my choice, I would have had either Tom or Penny.
So of the two...
Do I have to give a decision?
That's what he said. That's what the guy in the audience said as well.
Did he?
Yeah.
What did he say?
He eventually said Rishi, but he said he didn't want to choose either of them.
No, but I think if I had to choose between Rishi and Liz, the fact that Liz just wants to borrow more money to give tax cuts, whereas Rishi is at least talking about trying to manage the finances. I was saying this to you earlier, wasn't I? That actually as a Conservative, large parts of my life I've almost been able to live with the fact that we're not particularly well liked, but we are competent. But the fact that we are now neither well-liked nor competent is a really bad place to be. So I'm hoping Rishi will be more competent.
But he's going to be even worse than Boris Johnson.
Oh,
it's going to be like we've tunnelled our way out.
Dang, he going to be worse than Boris? And from the videos that I've seen, it seemed like the UK absolutely hated Boris Johnson. Didn't like him at all from what I've seen. And then you're going going from bad to worse.
I'm looking forward to having a summer holiday. Please, just let me have a summer holiday.
Honestly.
There's only so much I take. I'm going to need therapy at the end of all of this.
For being a Tory?
For being...
All right, so Frankie, what qualities do you look for in a Prime Minister?
Just the opposite of whatever these people are offering. Like at the moment, I would look for someone who would put us out of our misery with a nuclear war.
I would just settle for somebody who tells the truth, doesn't have parties, believes in the rule of law, has some ethics and values and character, and just gets shit done.
I mean, we all...
Those people don't exist, those politicians. I feel like as much as we do blame politicians and everything, and the people and the leaders, nobody's ever going to be perfect, and very few, I feel like, are going to be able to get crap done. I know with the U.S. system, I feel like they're just, like, even when it comes to the president or, you know what I'm saying, whoever's in charge, I'm like, there's too many people that decisions have to be run by, and You know what I'm saying? That get to decide on certain things for like certain things that even a president, I feel like, wants to get done. It has to go through so much before it can actually be like accepted or put into place or whatever. And so I just feel like there's so much crap. And then when you throw in the fact that all these organizations and companies basically run crap, it's like, yeah, the president's supposed to be the most powerful man in the U.S., but I mean, obviously, it's really certain organizations that are controlling him that are more powerful, that really run the country. So it's like, I don't know. I don't expect great things from politicians. Never do I from any politicians. I just live life with the rules that are out there. I don't know how better to say it.
Or want that. Tell me this. Why do you still believe in the Conservative Party? Is there hope? And why?
Because if we all desert it, those of us that are in the centre ground of politics and want it to return to the same centre ground, then it's just going to be lost to the maddies, and we can't afford for it to do that.
All right, so
We're
listen.
going to stay and fight.
Fiona said, is it okay that Boris Johnson got a standing ovation at PMQs by the MPs who actually dumped him? Yes, the outgoing Prime Minister this week ended by quoting the Terminator, "Hasta la vista, baby," although he was probably thinking, "I'll be back." It's also not the first time he's quoted Arnold Schwarzenegger, because I'm pretty sure at some stage he said, "That's not my kid." MPs were told ahead of time to give Johnson a standing ovation, but one person reluctantly stood and refused to clap.
It was when she started doing the wanker sign that it really...
Now that all started, that session started with the Speaker Lindsay Hoyle saying it's customary to say something nice about the outgoing Prime Minister. So Frankie, what would you say nice about Boris Johnson?
Boris Johnson, we have no idea how you were Prime Minister. You look like a chewed toffee that had to be cut out of the hair of an Afghan hound.
Jesus!
Or like someone injected Hitler's DNA into a panna cotta.
Oh my Lord!
Now, earlier in the week, Boris Johnson took a small trip in a fighter jet in which he bragged about doing loop-the-loops, which, much like his leadership, look spectacular but leave you exactly where you started.
Oh, I got it wrong, because when I heard he'd been in the plane, I just assumed that Carrie had put £1 in one of them ones out the front of Tesco.
I think he likes to think he's Maverick in Top Gun. Right,
Oh, he's
there.
a bit maverick.
He is a bit Maverick, but given his past admissions, I reckon Michael Gove's the one saying, "I feel the need for speed." Frankie, what do you think Boris is going to do next?
Die quite soon, hopefully.
He said what?
Die quite soon, hopefully.
Die or quit soon, hopefully.
Frankie, what do you think Boris is going to do next?
Die quite soon, hopefully.
And this is why we didn't book you with Miriam Margolyes.
I'm really glad I came on this week.
So as the country says goodbye to Boris Johnson. By the way, last time you were on, you said, why do you only get me on when shit's going down with the Tories?
I know, but the problem is shit's going down all the time. It's almost any week that I come on, but at least, we can talk. The only thing I would warn you of is, and I was saying this to, Mr. Cameron the other day, I said, I don't know what I was falling out with you about, right? Because we then had Theresa May. And now I look at Theresa May and I think those were the golden years, because we look at Boris Johnson. So where's this heading, guys? We could be looking back at this era as a really golden period, because we might get something really crazy coming down the track.
Can I just say Theresa May was a monster as well?
And that's...
What we forget nowadays is that she was only bearable because she had no power. And like for most of her time as Prime Minister, she sort of had all the authority of the do not tumble dry label.
Can we just go to an ad break now?
Yeah, so...
Why are you dressed like that?
You winding me up?
It's a joke, Mark.
Oh, I see.
It's an absolute casserole down there.
I'm going to storm off. Like Piers Morgan, it's to create buzz.
It's too hot. This is the same temperature as something that's burning.
You can't help but absolutely love Channel 4, bro. That was a dope video. That was hilarious. But that's all we got. Alright, you guys got a favorite video suggestion, you can subscribe to Patreon or drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D Neal. Out.